Jeff Bezos was born on January 12, 1964 in Albuquerque, a city where the desert's stark beauty collided with the hum of a nascent aerospace industry, a place where the American frontier's promise still whispered in the rustle of tumbleweeds and the glow of neon signs along Route 66. Brad Stone sets a tender, almost cinematic stage. Jeff's early world was a cocoon of family, resilience, and insatiable curiosity, shaped by a mother, Jackie, who was just 17 when she brought him into the world, and a stepfather, Mike Bezos, a Cuban immigrant who adopted Jeff at 4, giving him his name and a love that knew no boundaries. Jackie was a marvel of determination, a teenage mother navigating the harsh glare of 1960s societal judgment with a spirit that refused to bend. Stone paints a vivid, heart-tugging picture. Jackie pedaling a battered bicycle to night classes at the University of New Mexico, Jeff strapped in a wicker basket, her textbooks spread across a cramped kitchen table as she studied past midnight, her eyes heavy but her resolve unyielding. I'm deeply moved by her strength, the quiet tenacity of a young woman who faced whispers and stares but never let them dim her light. My heart swells imagining her exhaustion, her love for Jeff a fire that burned brighter than any obstacle, a beacon that would guide him through his own trials. Jackie worked odd jobs, clerical work, retail, stretching every dollar, sewing Jeff's clothes, her needle threading hope into every stitch. Stone recounts her telling Jeff stories of her own childhood, of scraping by in a working-class family, her voice a blend of grit and warmth that taught him resilience was a birthright. I'm choking up thinking of those moments, a mother and son in a small apartment, their dreams bigger than their circumstances. Mike Bezos, an engineer at Exxon, brought a steady hand and a story of survival that resonated deeply with Jeff. Having fled Castro's Cuba at 16 in 1961 through Operation Peter Pan, Mike arrived in Miami with nothing but a thin jacket and a heart full of hope, one of 14,000 children sent alone to escape communism. Stone's account is haunting. Mike, a teenager in a strange land, worked as a janitor, washed dishes, learned English by watching TV. His accent thick, but his determination thicker. He earned a degree in engineering, his nights spent studying under flickering lights, his days filled with labor to pay his way. I'm in awe of Mike's journey, a man who rebuilt his life from ashes, whose quiet strength became Jeff's foundation. Stone describes Mike teaching Jeff to fix cars in their Albuquerque garage, his hands stained with grease, his voice calm as he explained carburetors and spark plugs, each lesson a metaphor for solving life's problems. Jeff would sit cross-legged, absorbing every word, his mind already tinkering with ideas beyond the engine block. Mike's Cuban heritage added a layer of warmth. Family gatherings with arroz con pollo, salsa music drifting through the house, Jeff clapping along, his cackle a burst of joy. I can picture those scenes, the laughter, the love, and it stirs a longing for my own family's traditions, the moments that shaped me. Mike and Jackie's partnership was a testament to what love can build. Two young people, one a teen mom, the other an immigrant, forging a life of stability and possibility for their son. I'm trembling with gratitude for their sacrifices, the unspoken promise they made to give Jeff a shot at greatness. Jeff was a precocious child, his mind a kaleidoscope of questions, ideas, and restless energy. Stone's description is vivid, almost whimsical. Jeff at 5, sneaking a screwdriver from Mike's toolbox to dismantle his crib, his tiny hands prying at bolts, his eyes alight with the thrill of unraveling its secrets. Jackie found him mid-disassembly, tools scattered, his grin unapologetic, and instead of scolding, she bought him a tool set, nurturing his curiosity. I'm smiling at that image, a mother who saw genius in her son's mischief, who chose to fuel his fire. Jeff would build contraptions in his bedroom, electric alarms to block his younger siblings, Todd and Christina, from his sanctum, makeshift labs where he'd mix chemicals from science kits, dreaming of inventions that could change the world. Stone tells us Jeff would spend hours poring over Popular Science and Scientific American, his fingers smudged with newsprint, his mind soaking up articles on lunar bases, robotics, and fusion energy, his imagination leaping to futures others couldn't fathom. I can picture him, small and serious, lost in a universe of possibilities, and it stirs a pang of nostalgia for my own childhood wonder, the dreams I let slip under life's weight. Jackie encouraged his obsessions, driving him to the library to borrow stacks of books, Isaac Asimov's Foundation, Robert Heinlein's Stranger in a Strange Land, each page feeding his hunger for knowledge. Stone recounts Jeff memorizing trivia, reciting facts about planets or particle physics at dinner, his family amused but awed by his intensity. I'm in awe of that mind, a boy already wrestling with the cosmos, his heart full of questions no one could answer. Jeff's grandparents' Texas ranch, a sprawling expanse of dust, cattle, and endless horizon near Cotulla, was his summer sanctuary, a place where his imagination ran wild and his character took shape. Stone paints a rich sensory picture. Jeff, 9 years old, stepping off a bus into the blistering South Texas heat, the air thick with the scent of sagebrush and manure, his sneakers crunching on gravel as he ran to hug his grandfather, Pop Gees. Lawrence Preston Gees, a former Atomic Energy Commission engineer who'd helped build America's nuclear arsenal, was a towering figure in Jeff's life, a man of quiet brilliance and rugged wisdom. Pop had worked on missile defense systems at Los Alamos, his mind shaped by the Cold War's high stakes, and he regaled Jeff with tales of the space race, Apollo missions, and the Saturn V rocket's thunderous roar. Stone describes their evenings under a star-drenched sky, Pop pointing out constellations, explaining orbital mechanics, sparking Jeff's lifelong obsession with space. I'm transported to that ranch, feeling the cool night air, hearing Pop's gravelly voice, and I'm trembling with awe at his influence, a man who showed Jeff the universe was within reach. They'd fix windmills together, Jeff's hands learning the rhythm of wrenches, his shoulders aching as he hauled pipes, Pop teaching him to face hardship with grit. Stone recounts a day when a windmill's gearbox seized, Pop guiding Jeff through a 6-hour repair, their hands blistered, their banter a mix of science and sarcasm. Jeff learned to weld, to mend fences, to herd cattle on horseback, each task a lesson in persistence. I can feel the weight of that work, the pride in mastering it, and it makes me reflect on moments I shied from challenge. Pop's wife Maddie, Jeff's grandmother, added a softer touch, her Oklahoma roots grounding the family. She'd sew patches on Jeff's jeans, bake peach cobbler, and share stories of the Great Depression, her voice a soothing counterpoint to Pop's rugged lessons. Stone tells us Maddie taught Jeff to play gin rummy, their laughter filling the ranch house, her patience a balm for his restless mind. Those summers weren't just escapes. They forged a boy who saw no boundaries, who believed he could build anything, from a windmill to a world-changing company. I'm smiling at the thought of young Jeff, his cowboy hat tilted, dreaming of space colonies under a Texas sky, his heart brimming with wonder and ambition. School in Albuquerque, then Miami after a family move in 1968 when Mike's job relocated, revealed Jeff's brilliance and discipline. At Miami Palmetto High, he was a straight-A student, valedictorian, and president of the science club, building robots that won regional competitions and dazzling teachers with his intellect. Stone paints a vivid scene. Jeff in a cluttered lab, soldering circuits, his brow furrowed as he debugged a robot that could navigate mazes, his classmates watching in awe. His 1982 graduation speech was a bold vision, quoting Star Trek's Space, the Final Frontier, and imagining space hotels, orbital colonies, and a future where Earth's resources are preserved for humanity's survival. Stone recounts classmate Ursula Werner marveling at Jeff's clarity, his voice steady but passionate, his ideas so grand they seemed plucked from science fiction. I'm in awe of that audacity, a 17-year-old dreaming of humanity's cosmic destiny, and it makes me wish I'd been bolder in my youth. Jeff's classmates called him intense, his mind always churning, his laugh a loud barking cackle, cutting through the hum of teenage chatter in the cafeteria. Stone describes Jeff debating physics with teachers, his arguments sharp and unyielding, his confidence bordering on arrogance but tempered by charm. But Jeff wasn't just a brain, he was grounded, working at McDonald's, flipping burgers in a steamy kitchen, mopping floors after closing, learning the chaos of operations under pressure. Stone paints a sensory picture. Jeff at 16, his apron splattered with grease, mastering the grill during lunch rushes, the hiss of patties and buzz of timers a symphony he conducted with ease. He cataloged inefficiencies, slow order systems, wasted motion that he'd later optimize at Amazon, his mind already dissecting systems like a surgeon. I'm struck by his hustle, a teenager who saw no task as beneath him, who turned a minimum wage job into a masterclass in process. My chest tightens imagining young Jeff, his eyes scanning the kitchen, planning a future beyond the fryers, his ambition a quiet fire beneath his goofy grin. Classmates recalled his kindness, tutoring peers in calculus, staying late to explain derivatives, but also his edge, challenging teachers' assumptions, pushing for precision, a hint of the relentless leader he'd become. Stone tells us Jeff organized a summer program, Dream Institute, for younger kids, teaching them to think big, to question limits, a glimpse of his future as a motivator who'd inspire thousands. I'm inspired by that initiative, a high schooler already shaping minds, and it makes me reflect on moments I could have led but didn't. A quiet regret that Jeff's story stirs. His teenage years were a crucible, blending curiosity, grit, and vision. Setting the stage for a life of unparalleled impact, Princeton was Jeff's proving ground, where he majored in electrical engineering and computer science, diving into a world of code, circuits, and ideas that promise to unlock the future's secrets. Stone portrays him as a standout, solving differential equations with a clarity that stunned professors. His assignments a blend of mathematical rigor and creative flair. He joined the Quadrangle Club, one of Princeton's eating clubs, where he'd dance awkwardly at parties, his cackle echoing across the Gothic halls, his charm disarming even the shyest peers. Stone recounts a classmate, David Risher, describing Jeff's ability to lighten tense study sessions, his humor a spark that made late nights bearable. Jeff dated Toni Reed, a fellow engineering student who saw his softer side, cooking her pasta in his dorm, the scent of garlic filling the air, reading sci-fi novels like Dune and Ender's Game together, dreaming aloud about a future where technology could free humanity from drudgery. Stone's account of their late-night talks, Jeff sketching ideas for space travel on napkins, his eyes alight with possibility, is tender, and I feel a pang for that young love, so full of hope, so untouched by the pressures to come. Toni later told Stone Jeff's ambition was palpable even then, his mind leaping from circuits to cosmic destinies, his energy infectious. I'm moved by their connection, a reminder of how love can fuel dreams, and it makes me think of my own early relationships, the ones that shaped my path. But Jeff's focus was unrelenting. He graduated summa cum laude in 1986, Phi Beta Kappa, his resume a golden ticket to Wall Street's elite. He joined Fitel, a fintech startup in New York, coding systems for global securities trades, his algorithms streamlining millions in transactions across continents. Stone describes Jeff at Fitel, a 22-year-old in a cramped office, debugging code at midnight, his intensity earning him promotions, but also restlessness, his heart pulling him towards something grander. He moved to Bankers Trust, then D.E. Shaw, a hedge fund where he became a senior vice president by 27, a prodigy in a world of quants and traders. Stone paints to Shaw as a crucible, where Jeff's analytical mind thrived, dissecting obscure bonds with a precision that left colleagues in awe. He'd build spreadsheets that predicted market shifts, his models a labyrinth of numbers, his insights earning him a reputation as a golden boy, per Stone's account of partner Jeff Holden. Yet Jeff was restless, his heart yearning for a challenge beyond finance. I feel that itch, that hunger for purpose. I've had moments where a safe path felt like a cage, and Jeff's story resonates deeply, a call to chase something bigger. Colleagues described his relentless questions, probing market anomalies, his ambition palpable even in casual chats over coffee in D. Shaw's sleek Manhattan office. Stone recounts Jeff analyzing a bond deal, his fingers flying across a keyboard, spotting a pricing error that saved millions, his cackle a burst of triumph. I'm in awe of his clarity, a young man already seeing patterns others missed, a skill that would define Amazon's rise. In 1994, Jeff's life pivoted on a single seismic statistic. The internet was growing 2,300% a year. Stone captures the moment with electric, almost palpable clarity. Jeff, 30, in his corner office at D.E. Shaw, staring at his computer, a mosaic browser glowing with rudimentary websites, his mind racing as he saw a digital frontier unfolding. It was a lightning bolt, a vision of commerce reborn in a world where modems screeched at 14.4 kilobits per second, where the internet was a nerdy novelty for academics and hobbyists. Jeff made a list of products to sell online. Books topped it, with millions of titles, no need for physical stores, and a market ripe for disruption. Stone describes Jeff pacing his office, sketching business plans on legal pads, his excitement contagious, his cackle echoing as he shared the idea with colleagues. The concept was audacious. An online bookstore to rival giants like Barnes and Noble and Borders, built from nothing in an era where most Americans hadn't heard of the World Wide Web, where AOL's You've Got Mail was the height of digital culture. Jeff pitched the idea to his boss, David Shaw, a hedge fund titan who saw potential but urged caution, warning of the risks, leaving a lucrative job, entering an untested market, facing established giants with decades of dominance. Stone recounts Shaw taking Jeff for a walk in Central Park, the autumn leaves crunching underfoot, urging him to stay, to climb Deshaw's ladder. Jeff listened, nodded, but his heart was already elsewhere. He quit, telling his parents he'd moved to Seattle with his wife Mackenzie, a Princeton grad and aspiring novelist, to chase this dream. "I had maybe a 10% chance of success," he told Stone, and my heart races at his courage, walking away from a six-figure salary, stock options, and Manhattan's glitter to bet everything on a vision that could vanish like a mirage. Jackie and Mike loaned him $300,000, their life savings, believing in their son's fire, a trust that must have weighed heavily on Jeff's shoulders, a silent vow to honor their faith. I'm tearing up imagining that moment, the gravity of their sacrifice, the unspoken promise Jeff made to make it worth their risk. Mackenzie, his partner in every sense, agreed to the leap, her belief in Jeff a quiet strength that anchored him through the uncertainty. Stone recounts their late-night talks in their Manhattan apartment, Mackenzie encouraging Jeff to follow his gut, her hand squeezing his, her love a foundation for the chaos ahead. I'm moved by their bond, a couple daring to dream together, their partnership a testament to what love can build, a beacon that shines through the darkest moments of this story. Jeff used a regret minimization framework to decide, imagining himself at 80, asking if he'd regret not trying this venture. The answer was clear. No regret could outweigh the pain of passing on this chance, and I'm struck by that wisdom, a 30-year-old making a choice for his future self, a clarity I envy. It makes me pause, reflecting on risks I've dodged out of fear, and Jeff's resolve is a wake-up call, a challenge to live bolder. In Seattle, Jeff founded Amazon in the garage of their rented Bellevue home, naming it after the Amazon River, a symbol of vastness, flow, and untamed ambition that captured his vision of a store without limits. Stone's description is vivid, almost tactile. Jeff and Mackenzie hunched over secondhand computers, their screens flickering in the dim garage, coding amidst stacks of books and the scent of cardboard and dust. The space was cramped, the floor concrete, the air thick with Seattle's damp chill, but it buzzed with possibility, the hum of dial-up modems, a soundtrack to their dreams. Early hires like Shel Kafan, a brilliant programmer with a knack for building robust systems, and Paul Davis, a coder who thrived on chaos, joined the fray, drawn by Jeff's infectious energy and galactic vision. Stone paints a scene of Shel debugging code at 2 a.m., his glasses fogged from coffee steam, Jeff leaning over his shoulder, suggesting optimizations, their banter a mix of tech and humor. Jeff's cackle echoed through late nights, a sound that became Amazon's heartbeat, a signal of joy and defiance in the face of exhaustion. But his demands were fierce. Code faster, ship quicker, dream bigger, his voice sharp when deadlines slipped. Stone recounts Jeff's mantra, customer obsession, low prices, vast selection, fast delivery, a principle that drove every line of code, every packed box, every decision, no matter how small. By July 1995, Amazon.com launched, a bare-bones site with a clunky interface, gray background, blocky text, slow-loading images, but a revolutionary promise. Millions of books at your fingertips delivered to your door. Stone describes the launch day, Jeff refreshing the site obsessively, his fingers drumming, his eyes wide as the first order pinged, a book on fluid dynamics sold to a coder in California. Orders started as a trickle, then surged, overwhelming the team, the garage a whirlwind of packing tape and bubble wrap. Jeff crawled under tables to pack boxes, his knees bruised, his hands taping packages, his eyes alight with possibility, his cackle ringing out as orders hit 100 a day. Stone recounts the team cheering, Mackenzie handing out high fives, the air electric with triumph. I feel that thrill, the raw joy of a dream coming alive, and I'm smiling, imagining those early days, the chaos of creation, the camaraderie of a team building something real. Kafan recalled Jeff's intensity, his ability to make you believe the impossible was just a step away, but also his exacting standards, rewriting code if it wasn't perfect, his perfectionism, a double-edged sword. Employees like Nicholas Lovejoy, a jack-of-all-trades, shared stories of Jeff troubleshooting servers at 3 a.m., his focus unshaken by crashes, his hands steady as he swapped cables. Stone tells us of a night when a server fried, Jeff and Shel working 6 hours to rebuild it, their exhaustion forgotten when the site went live again, their laughter a release of tension. I'm inspired by that energy, that grit, but I ache for the toll it took. Marriages strained, sleep sacrificed, all for a dream that could collapse in an instant. Mackenzie's role was pivotal, Stone notes, not just packing boxes, but writing Amazon's first customer reviews, her prose lending the site a human touch, her novelist's eye-crafting descriptions that made books feel alive. I'm in awe of her, a writer pouring her heart into her husband's vision, her own novels deferred, her love a quiet force that held the team together. Those early days weren't glamorous. They were grueling, a test of faith in a future no one could guarantee, a crucible that would forge Amazon's soul. Amazon's early years were a financial tightrope, a relentless battle to survive in a world that didn't yet trust the internet, where online shopping was a curiosity, not a habit. Stone details the struggle with granular precision. Losses piled up. $52 million in 1997 alone. Servers buckled under traffic spikes, and investors grew skeptical of Jeff's vision, an everything store selling every product imaginable, with unmatched scale and speed. The dot-com boom of the late 1990s was a double-edged sword. It fueled hype, with Netscape's 1995 IPO and Yahoo's rise electrifying Wall Street. But it bred fierce competition and inflated expectations. Rivals like Barnes & Noble launched websites, their deep pockets and brand power a threat to crush Amazon's fledgling operation. Stone describes Barnes & Noble's 1997 online launch, backed by $100 million, their CEO Len Riggio dismissing Amazon as a gnat, a barb that stung Jeff but fueled his defiance. Jeff raised millions from venture capitalists like Kleiner Perkins and Benchmark, securing $54 million in 1996, but expenses soared. New warehouses in Delaware and Nevada, each the size of 3 football fields, hundreds of hires, tech upgrades to handle growing traffic, from 50,000 to 500,000 daily visitors by 1998. Stone paints a tense picture of boardroom battles in Amazon's Seattle office. Investors like John Doerr, a Silicon Valley legend, demanding profits, his voice calm but insistent, while Jeff pushed for growth over earnings, his eyes fierce, his hands gesturing wildly. Jeff's strategy was get big fast, a gamble that bet Amazon's survival on scale, not margins, a belief that market share would outlast losses. I'm on edge reading this, feeling the pressure, the fear that one misstep could end it all, my heart pounding as if I'm in the room. Stone recounts a 1997 meeting where Jeff laid out his vision, millions of customers, billions in revenue, a store for everything, his cackle punctuating the audacity, his whiteboard scrawled with projections that seemed fantastical. $10 billion by 2005, $100 billion by 2010. Investors were split. Doerr saw genius, others madness, one muttering, "This kid's dreaming," per Stone's account. Employees worked 80-hour weeks, sleeping under desks, their lives a blur of code, shipments, and Jeff's relentless push. Stone describes engineer Perry Hartman, who built Amazon's early search engine, his pride palpable as customers found books in seconds, but his exhaustion evident, his marriage fraying under the strain. Others burned out, like marketing hire Jane Slade, who quit after 18 months, calling Jeff's intensity ruthless, her voice heavy in Stone's interview, her eyes shadowed by sleepless nights. Stone quotes Eric Dillon, an operations lead, who said Jeff's drive pushed you beyond your limits, unlocking feats you didn't know you could achieve, but at a cost. Exhaustion, doubt, a life on hold, his family barely seeing him. I'm torn, admiring Jeff's vision, aching for those who broke under its weight, my own memories of high-pressure jobs surfacing, the mix of exhilaration and depletion all too familiar. Stone notes the culture Jeff fostered. Frugal, intense, customer-obsessed, with door desk tables, built from Home Depot doors, symbolizing lean priorities, a nod to Jeff's belief that every dollar should serve the customer, not the office. Employees shared stories of Jeff's micromanaging, spotting typos in emails, demanding rewrites at midnight, his perfectionism both inspiring and draining. Stone recounts Jeff reviewing a product page, his pen circling a misplaced comma, his voice sharp. "This is sloppy, and sloppy loses trust." I'm struck by this duality. A leader who saw greatness in his team, but pushed them to their breaking point. A man whose obsession with detail built an empire, but bruised those who built it with him. By 1999, Amazon's stock soared, making Jeff a paper billionaire at 35. His face splashed across Time's Person of the Year cover, dubbed the King of E-commerce, a title that felt both earned and surreal. Stone captures the moment with vivid detail. Jeff, still driving a beat-up 1996 Honda Accord, its seats stained, laughing off the hype, his focus on the long game unbroken. He'd walk Seattle's Pike Place market unrecognized, buying coffee from street vendors, his mind on logistics, not fame. Stone recounts Jeff dining with employees at hole-in-the-wall restaurants like the Green Turtle, a dive bar with sticky floors, his cackle drawing stares, his humility disarming, his stories of early Amazon days, packing books on his knees, making him feel like one of the team. But the dot-com crash of 2000 was a brutal reckoning, a storm that nearly sank Amazon's ship. Stone's account is harrowing, a descent into chaos. Amazon stock plummeted 80%, from $100 to $6 a share, erasing $9 billion in value. Layoffs loomed, with analysts predicting bankruptcy, and creditors circled, demanding repayments Amazon couldn't afford. Jeff stayed calm in public, his cackle cutting through panic in all-hands meetings at Seattle's Moore Theater, his voice steady as he promised, "We'll get through this." But Stone notes his eyes betrayed sleepless nights, his jaw tight with strain, his hands clenching a marker as he sketched survival plans. He slashed costs, firing 15% of staff, 1,300 people, a decision that pained him, Stone writes. Jeff met with laid-off workers in a conference room, his voice heavy with regret, offering severance, job placement help, and personal apologies. A human gesture in a corporate crisis, his cackle absent, his face etched with guilt. I'm heartbroken imagining those goodbyes, the weight Jeff carried, knowing dreams were shattered on his watch, families upended, trust broken. He negotiated with creditors, staving off collapse with a tenacity that stunned bankers at Morgan Stanley, his arguments rooted in Amazon's growing customer base, 20 million by 2000, his cackle returning as he secured extensions. Stone recounts Jeff rallying his team with a vision of customer obsession. Lower prices, faster delivery, endless choice, his voice rising, his hands slashing the air, his belief infectious despite the gloom. "We were days from death," Executive Jeff Wilk told Stone, his voice low, his eyes distant, recalling nights when cash reserves dipped to weeks, not months. My heart pounds picturing Jeff staring down ruin, refusing to blink, his resolve a beacon in the storm. A $2 billion bond deal in 2001, led by Goldman Sachs, saved Amazon. But the scars lingered. Morale tanked, employees quit, some bitter, like engineer Tom Schonhoff, who told Stone, "Jeff's dream cost me my life. His marriage gone, his savings drained. I'm aching for Tom, for all who paid Amazon's price, and for Jeff, whose vision demanded such sacrifice." Mackenzie's role grew heavier, Stone notes. She was at home, raising their young kids, writing her novel, The Testing of Luther Albright in Stolen Moments, her support for Jeff unwavering, but her own dreams deferred. Her eyes weary as Jeff left for board meetings at dawn. I'm heartbroken for her, a partner in every sense, carrying the weight of their family while Jeff chased his empire. Their love deep, but stretched thin by distance. The dot-com crash wasn't just a financial crisis, it was a human one, a test of faith, loyalty, and endurance that shaped Amazon's soul. Amazon survived, then exploded, expanding beyond books to CDs, electronics, toys, apparel, kitchenware, and jewelry, each category a step toward Jeff's everything store. Stone details Jeff's big bets, each a leap into uncharted territory that redefined retail, technology, and culture. Amazon Prime, launched in 2005, offered free 2-day shipping for $79 a year, a move analysts called financial suicide, predicting billions in losses that could cripple Amazon. Jeff saw it as a loyalty engine, a way to lock in customers for life, to make Amazon indispensable. Stone recounts heated board debates in Amazon's Day One building, CFO Warren Jensen warning of fiscal ruin, his spreadsheets projecting red ink for years, while Jeff pushed forward, his voice firm, his eyes blazing. "This is for the customer, not the spreadsheet." Engineers like Greg Greeley and Charlie Ward worked 100-hour weeks to build Prime's logistics, their pride palpable in Stone's account as membership soared past 1 million in 2006, 10 million by 2010. Stone describes Greeley testing delivery routes, driving Seattle's suburbs, stopwatch in hand, shaving seconds off routes, his exhaustion forgotten when customers raved. By 2025, Prime has 200 million members across 22 countries, a cornerstone of Amazon's $1.8 trillion empire. Its perks, streaming music, discounts, same-day delivery, redefining what a subscription can be. Stone recounts Jeff sketching Prime's benefits on a whiteboard in 2004, his cackle echoing as he imagined customers' delight, his hands drawing arrows from free shipping to loyalty to growth. "I feel that joy, the thrill of solving a puzzle no one else could, and I'm smiling, imagining Jeff's excitement, his belief that customers would reward audacity." Prime wasn't just a service, it was a mindset, a commitment to customer obsession that became Amazon's beating heart, a legacy that makes me want to build something lasting. The Kindle, unveiled in 2007, was another audacious gamble, a pivot into hardware that tested Amazon's limits. Jeff, a lifelong book lover who devoured novels like Lonesome Dove on cross-country drives, initially doubted hardware, fearing it would distract from Amazon's retail core. But Stone recounts his pivot. Jeff sketching e-reader ideas on napkins at a Seattle diner, inspired by Sony's early devices and the iPod's sleekness, his team racing to build a device that could hold thousands of books readable in sunlight. Stone paints a vivid, almost cinematic scene. Jeff in a secret lab in Silicon Valley codenamed Fiona, testing prototypes, his frustration flaring when screens lagged, his hands slamming a table, his excitement palpable when e-ink delivered crisp text. Engineers like Greg Zare worked 18-hour days, their eyes bloodshot, their pride soaring as Jeff praised a breakthrough, his cackle a reward worth more than sleep. The launch was a triumph, selling out in hours, Jeff tearing up as customers embraced it, Stone writes, his voice cracking as he told his team, "We did it for readers." I'm choking up imagining that moment. A man who cherished physical books birthing a device that changed reading forever. A victory that felt personal, not just corporate. By 2025, Kindle's ecosystem, ebooks, Audible, self-publishing through Kindle Direct Publishing, generates billions, empowering authors to bypass publishers, democratizing literature. Stone tells us of Jeff meeting with publishers in New York, his charm disarming, his terms non-negotiable, ebooks at $9.99, half the hardcover price, or lose Amazon's platform. Publishers resisted, sparking the 2014 Hachette dispute where Amazon delayed Hachette's books, prompting authors like Stephen King and John Grisham to boycott, calling Jeff a monopolist in open letters. Jeff's response, a public letter on Amazon's site, was unapologetic. Lower prices benefit readers, not publisher profits. His logic rooted in his belief that scale was progress, not predation. Stone recounts Jeff pacing his office during the dispute, his cackle absent, his jaw tight as he read authors' critiques, his resolve unshaken but his heart stung per an aide's account. I'm stunned by his resolve, his ability to see a future where readers, not gatekeepers, held power. But I ache for the authors caught in the crossfire, their livelihoods at stake. Kindle wasn't just a product, it was a revolution, a testament to Jeff's courage to disrupt an industry he loved, and I'm inspired by his audacity, his willingness to be the villain for a greater good. Amazon Web Services, AWS, launched in 2006, was Jeff's quietest but most transformative bet, a pivot from retail to infrastructure that reshaped the internet. Stone details its origin with technical granularity. Amazon's internal tech, servers, storage, computing power was so robust, handling millions of transactions daily, that Jeff saw a chance to sell it to others, from startups to enterprises, as a utility like electricity. Engineers like Andy Jassy, a Harvard MBA who joined in 1997, built AWS from scratch, offering cloud services like S3, storage, and EC2, computing, that powered early adopters like Dropbox, Netflix, and Airbnb. Stone recounts Jeff's pitch to skeptics in 2003 in a Seattle conference room, his whiteboard scrawled with diagrams of servers and APIs. Why not monetize our backbone? Board members like Tom Alberg balked, fearing it would dilute Amazon's retail focus, their voices tense, but Jeff persisted, his cackle punctuating his certainty, his hands slashing the air as he described a future where companies could scale without owning servers. Stone describes AWS's early days, engineers coding in a Belltown loft, the scent of takeout lingering, Jeff grilling them on scalability, his questions relentless. How do we handle 1 million users? 1 billion? What's the latency on a transatlantic query? Employees like James Hamilton, a database guru, shared stories of Jeff diving into technical specs, his mind wrestling with latency, redundancy, and fault tolerance, his passion infectious, his cackle a spark that kept teams going. Stone recounts a 2005 hackathon where Hamilton's team built a prototype for S3, Jeff testing it at 4 a.m., his eyes bloodshot but gleaming, his voice exclaiming, "This changes everything." By 2025, AWS generates $100 billion annually, powering half the internet from NASA's Mars rover data to TikTok's viral videos, a juggernaut born from a side project that now accounts for 60% of Amazon's profits. I'm floored by this. Jeff didn't just build a store. He built the internet's backbone, a platform that enables millions of businesses, from mom-and-pop shops to SpaceX. Stone notes AWS's impact on Amazon's culture, fostering a startup mindset within a giant, with teams empowered to experiment, fail, and iterate, a legacy of Jeff's belief that innovation thrives in chaos. I'm inspired by that agility, a company that could pivot from books to clouds, and it makes me reflect on my own resistance to change, my fear of failure. AWS's technical architecture, elastic computing, auto-scaling, serverless functions, reads like science fiction, and I'm in awe of Jeff's foresight. His ability to see a market before it existed, to build what others couldn't imagine. Jeff's leadership was a paradox, visionary yet punishing, inspiring yet brutal, a duality that Stone captures with nuance and depth. Stone outlines Jeff's 14 leadership principles, like customer obsession, ownership, disagree and commit, dive deep, and bias for action, drilled into every employee through rigorous onboarding, a cultural DNA that defined Amazon's edge. Meetings were intense, Jeff's questions surgical, his temper flaring when answers fell short, his voice cutting like a blade. "Are you lazy or just incompetent?" he'd ask per Stone, and I wince at the sting. Imagining engineers trembling under his gaze, their palms sweaty, their minds racing. Stone recounts a 1998 meeting where Jeff tore into a marketing team for a sloppy presentation, his pen circling errors on a projector slide, his voice sharp, his disappointment palpable, the room silent except for the hum of the projector. An aide, Ann Hyatt, told Stone Jeff later apologized, his cackle returning, his hand on her shoulder, but the moment lingered, a lesson in precision. Yet his clarity inspired loyalty. Executives like Jeff Wilk, who built Amazon's logistics, and Dave Clark, who scaled warehouses, stayed decades, drawn to Jeff's vision, his ability to make the impossible feel inevitable. Stone quotes Wilkie, "Jeff's intensity made us better, but it wasn't for everyone. His voice heavy, his eyes reflecting years of triumphs and tolls. Some thrived, like Diego Piacentini, an Italian executive who globalized Amazon's operations, his charm softening Jeff's edge, his work expanding Amazon to Japan, Germany, and India by 2002. Others quit, burned by Jeff's demands, their stories in Stone's book a sobering counterpoint, like product manager Susan Harker, who left in 1999 telling Stone, "Jeff's vision was electric, but his pace broke me, her family strained, her health frayed. I'm conflicted. Jeff's drive forged greatness, but at what human cost? I've worked under tough leaders, and it's a mix of respect and resentment, a tension Stone captures with unflinching honesty. Critics called Jeff cold, his frugality, door desk tables, no free snacks, economy flights for executives, stingy. But Stone explains his logic. Every dollar went to customers, not perks, a principle rooted in Jeff's belief that waste betrayed trust. Employees shared stories of Jeff's softer side, mentoring young hires like Ann Hyatt, who told Stone Jeff spent hours teaching her data analysis, his cackle erupting when she cracked a pivot table, or apologizing for a harsh critique, his voice low, his eyes meeting theirs. Stone recounts Jeff reading customer emails daily, spotting flaws in service, a late delivery, a damaged book, demanding fixes within hours, his obsession with detail both inspiring and exhausting. Stone tells us of a 2001 incident where a customer complained about a scratched CD. Jeff traced the issue to a warehouse flaw, flew to Delaware, and spent a day packing boxes himself, his hands taping, his eyes scanning for errors, his cackle absent but his focus laser sharp. I'm struck by this duality. A man who saw greatness in his team but pushed them to their breaking point. A leader who built a machine but stayed human, flaws and all, his heart as complex as his empire. Amazon's dominance sparked fierce backlash, a storm of criticism that tested Jeff's resolve and reshaped his legacy. Stone details publishers battling Jeff over ebook prices, accusing him of wielding Amazon's power like a cudgel, a monopolist squeezing their margins. The 2014 Hachette dispute was a flashpoint, a cultural and economic war that exposed Amazon's might. Stone paints a vivid picture. Amazon delayed Hachette's books, removing pre-order buttons, slowing shipments, prompting authors like Stephen King, John Grisham, and Malcolm Gladwell to sign open letters calling Jeff a bully, their words stinging in literary circles. Stone recounts Jeff pacing his Medina office during the dispute, his cackle absent, his jaw tight as he read their critiques, his resolve unshaken but his heart stung, per an aide's account. Jeff's response, a public letter on Amazon's site, was unapologetic, almost defiant. Lower prices benefit readers, not publisher profits. His logic rooted in his belief that scale was progress, not predation, that customers deserved affordability over tradition. Stone notes Jeff's meetings with Hachette executives, his charm disarming but his terms ironclad, his voice calm but unyielding, a negotiator who'd learned from Wall Street's sharks. The dispute settled after months, Hachette conceding lower ebook prices, but the damage lingered. Amazon's reputation took a hit, its power under scrutiny. By 2025, antitrust probes in the US and EU target Amazon's marketplace fees, which take 15 to 50% of third-party sellers' revenue. Alexa's data collection, which tracks user habits, and practices like using seller data to launch competing products. Stone quotes regulators like FTC Chair Lina Khan, whose 2017 paper, Amazon's Antitrust Paradox, argued Amazon's scale harms competition, innovation, and democracy, her voice a clarion call for reform. Stone also cites critics like Stacy Mitchell of the Institute for Local Self-Reliance, who told Congress in 2020, Amazon's too big, squeezing competitors, workers, and communities, her data showing 30% of U.S. small retailers closing since 2015, partly due to Amazon's pricing power. Yet customers remain loyal, same-day delivery, endless choice, prices Walmart struggles to match, with 50% of U.S. e-commerce flowing through Amazon's platform by 2025. I'm torn. Jeff's built a marvel, a platform that empowers 2 million small sellers, delivers diapers at midnight, and funds dreams. But is it too mighty, too all-consuming? I shop on Amazon, guilty yet grateful. My Prime membership a convenience I can't quit, and it's a mirror to our times. A paradox of choice and control. Stone details labor controversies with heartbreaking clarity. Warehouse workers facing grueling conditions, timed breaks, and injuries. Their bodies pushed to limits in pursuit of customer obsession. Stone quotes Jennifer Bates, an Alabama worker who described 10-hour shifts in 2021. Her feet aching, her dignity tested, yet her pride in feeding her family unwavering, her voice cracking as she spoke at a union rally. Union drives in Alabama, New York, and Germany by 2025 challenge Amazon's model, with workers demanding better pay, safer conditions, and respect. Jeff's response was mixed, raising wages to $15 in 2018, investing $10 billion in automation to ease physical toil, like robotic arms that lift pallets, but resisting unions, citing direct employee dialogue through voice of associate boards. Stone recounts Jeff touring a Staten Island warehouse in 2020, his mask fogged, his eyes scanning robots and workers, his voice promising safety upgrades. But workers like Bates felt unheard, their signs reading, "We are not robots." I ache for Jennifer, her hands calloused, her dreams tied to Amazon's machine, and I feel the weight of Jeff's legacy, a company that lifts millions but challenges their humanity, a paradox that defines his impact. Amazon's 2017 acquisition of Whole Foods for $13.7 billion, its expansion into streaming with Prime Video's The Rings of Power and The Expanse, and AI-driven recommendations, personalizing shopping with eerie precision, predicting my next buy, keep it ahead. But competition from Walmart's e-commerce, Alibaba's global reach, and TikTok's Shop, which blends shopping with viral videos, looms large. Stone notes Amazon's resilience, its ability to adapt, a testament to Jeff's long game, his belief that customer obsession outlasts all rivals. Jeff's personal life bore the scars of his ambition, a story Stone tells with tenderness, nuance, and heartbreaking detail. His marriage to Mackenzie was a partnership of equals, rooted in love, shared dreams, and mutual respect, a bond that weathered Amazon storms until it couldn't. They met at D. Shaw in 1992, Mackenzie interviewing with Jeff, their chemistry instant, her laughter matching his cackle, her intellect a spark that drew him in. Stone paints a tender picture. Their first date at a Greenwich Village bookstore, Jeff buying her a copy of Toni Morrison's Beloved. Their talks stretching past midnight, their hands brushing as they shared dreams of a bigger life. Mackenzie, a Princeton grad with a quiet intensity, worked as Jeff's research assistant, her organizational skills grounding his chaos, her love a steady flame. Stone recounts their 1993 wedding, a small affair in West Palm Beach, Jeff in a borrowed suit, Mackenzie radiant, their vows a promise to build together. She drove cross-country for Amazon's 1995 launch, their U-Haul packed with books and dreams, Mackenzie navigating while Jeff typed a business plan on a laptop, their laughter filling the cab. Stone describes Mackenzie packing boxes in the garage, her hands taping, her prose crafting Amazon's first customer reviews, her novelist's eye making books feel alive, her contributions foundational, but often unsung. Mackenzie raised their 4 kids, 3 sons, Preston, Grant, and Finn, and an adopted daughter, Lila, while writing her novels, The Testing of Luther Albright, 2005, and Traps, 2013. In stolen moments, her desk a corner of their Medina mansion, her typewriter clacking as kids slept. Stone paints a poignant scene. Mackenzie reading to the kids, Harry Potter open, Jeff absent at board meetings, her eyes weary but her voice warm, her love holding the family together. But Jeff's 100-hour weeks left her alone, their bond fraying under his obsession with Amazon, his phone buzzing with crises, his mind elsewhere even at dinner. Stone recounts a 2008 vacation in Hawaii, Mackenzie planning a family hike, Jeff distracted by emails, his cackle muted, their connection strained, a moment that foreshadowed drift. Their 2019 divorce after 25 years shocked the world. Mackenzie receiving $38 billion, becoming a philanthropist with her giving pledge, donating billions to education, racial equity, and women's causes. Stone hints at Jeff's affair with Lauren Sanchez, a media personality fueling tabloid frenzy. The National Enquirer exposing texts in 2019, "I love you, alive girl," that laid Jeff's heart bare. His vulnerability a stark contrast to his Titan image. I'm heartbroken for Mackenzie. Her grace amid pain inspiring, a woman who helped build Amazon yet found her own path. Her 2021 gift of $2 billion to HBCUs a testament to her vision. I feel for Jeff, his flaws exposed under a global spotlight, his cackle silenced by scrutiny, his humanity raw and unguarded. His kids grounded him, Stone writes. Jeff coached their math, solving quadratic equations on a whiteboard, read Dune and Ender's Game together, took them to Blue Origin's launches, his eyes lighting up as they asked about thrust ratios. Stone recounts a 2017 launch, Jeff and Preston watching New Shepard soar. Jeff's arm around his son, his voice whispering, "This is for you." A rare moment of presence. Yet Amazon's pull was relentless, a mistress he couldn't leave, and I'm struck by this tension. Success at such a cost, a mirror to our own trade-offs, a reminder that even billionaires can't have it all. In 2021, Jeff stepped down as Amazon's CEO, handing reins to Andy Jassy, staying executive chairman and pouring his heart into Blue Origin, his space venture, a dream rooted in his childhood love of Star Trek and Pop Giza's tales. Stone traces Blue Origin's roots to 2000, when Jeff founded it in Kent, Washington, to make humanity multiplanetary, to build space colonies that could house millions, preserving Earth as a sanctuary. Stone paints a vivid scene. Jeff at Blue Origin's headquarters, a converted warehouse, sketching reusable rockets, his whiteboard scrawled with equations for orbital velocity, his cackle erupting as engineers cracked a re-entry problem. By 2025, Blue Origin's New Shepard flies tourists past the Kármán line, offering 5-minute weightless views of Earth's curvature, competing with SpaceX's Starlink and Virgin Galactic's suborbital flights. Stone describes Jeff at a 2018 New Shepard launch in Van Horn, Texas, eyes wet as his rocket soared. A boy's dream made real, his cackle echoing across the desert, his hands clapping engineers' backs. I'm thrilled by his passion. It's the kid who loves sci-fi, now reaching the stars, a vision that feels like hope incarnate, a call to dream beyond our planet. Blue Origin's New Glenn, a reusable heavy-lift rocket, prepares for NASA's Artemis lunar missions, with contracts signed in 2024, though delays and SpaceX's dominance draw criticism. Stone notes Jeff's $1 billion annual investment, funded by Amazon stock sales, his commitment unwavering, his voice firm in a 2023 speech. Space is humanity's future, and I'll spend my life making it real. I'm in awe of his long game, betting on a destiny centuries away, a patience that humbles my own short-term thinking. Jeff's philanthropy also grew. His $10 billion Bezos Earth Fund, launched in 2020, tackles climate change, funding renewable energy, reforestation, and carbon capture, with $2 billion dispersed by 2025 to groups like the Nature Conservancy. Critics call it PR to counter Amazon's 50 million-ton carbon footprint, per a 2024 CDP report, but Stone notes Jeff's sincerity, his voice cracking at a 2021 climate summit, recalling Pop G's love of Earth's wild places. Stone shows Jeff's complexity, a man chasing cosmic dreams while grappling with earthly critiques, a billionaire seeking purpose beyond wealth, his heart torn between stars and soil. As of June 14, 2025, Amazon is a colossus. 1.5 million employees, $600 billion in revenue, Alexa in 100 million homes, drones testing delivery in Arizona, California, and Italy. There were a glimpse of Jeff's sci-fi vision. Stone notes Amazon's logistics, with 400 fulfillment centers and 1,000 delivery hubs, deliver packages in hours, a feat that feels like magic, powered by AI that predicts demand, optimizes routes, and personalizes shopping with eerie precision, recommending my next book before I know I want it. Amazon's 2017 acquisition of Whole Foods for $13.7 billion reshaped grocery, with automated stores and Prime discounts. Its streaming arm, Prime Video, with hits like The Rings of Power and The Expanse, rivals Netflix, drawing 150 million viewers, and its AI, from warehouse robots to Alexa's voice, sets global standards. But challenges mount. Labor strikes in Europe and North America, with 10,000 workers walking out in Germany in 2024, regulatory pressure from the FTC and EU seeking to break Amazon's marketplace or fine it billions, and competition from Walmart's e-commerce, Alibaba's global reach, and TikTok's Shop, which blends shopping with viral videos, capturing Gen Z's wallets. Stone notes Amazon's resilience, its ability to adapt, a testament to Jeff's long game, his belief that customer obsession outlasts all rivals, a principle Jassy upholds, his 2024 shareholder letter echoing Jeff's, "We're just getting started." Jeff's worth $200 billion per Forbes 2025, yet Stone's book reminds us, wealth wasn't his goal. Impact was a drive to build systems that endure, to leave Earth better and reach the stars. I'm staggered by his journey, from a garage to a global force, a man who dreamed big and paid dearly, his story a tidal wave of courage, cost, and humanity. Jeff's saga, from Albuquerque's deserts to the edge of space, shows what's possible when you bet on yourself, endure failure, and chase a vision others can't see. His flaws, his triumphs, his aching humanity make this tale universal, a call to dream bigger, love deeper, and build something that outlives us. Thank you for joining me in this emotional, exhaustive odyssey of the Everything Store, a story that challenges us to reach for the impossible, no matter the price, to leave our mark on the universe as Jeff Bezos did.